You can now turn your lovable web application into a native Android mobile application and publish it to the Google Play Store in just a few clicks. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that. So first of all, we're going to create our lovable project, make sure it's updated and published, and we're going to copy the URL of that production live version URL of that project. So I'm going to copy that. And now we're going to go to a website called Despia.com. It allows you to ship your web app into a truly native mobile app. It's a native runtime for your lovable application. And you get cool things like one-click deployment, one click and you deploy and you ship your lovable application into the Google Play Store, and you have access to native SDKs like reading native contact access, Face ID, in-app purchases through Revenue Cat, all the exciting native features. And you get full source code export, so you own the whole code base. You can open that in Android Studio, edit it, add new stuff to it, whatever you want to do. You own the whole code, no vendor lock-in, and you get automated updates for lifetime. So every time there's a new Android version, your application already has access to all the native new functionalities and is always on point when it comes to security compliance and security versioning. So let's get started for free, because they allow us to build the application and test it out for free. So let's create a new app here, and I'm going to call the app name Android Master. And the web app start URL, that will be our lovable project URL. I'm just going to paste this inside of here. Beautiful. And then we can set the bundle ID. We can either choose the one that we get suggested, or we can do our own one, like com.androidmaster. And it's usually your custom domain in reverse pattern. If you don't have a custom domain, you can just take our suggestion. And then you're going to create the new application. Beautiful. And now you have a new project created. Now there are just a few things we have to do. We have to go to the settings on the left side, and we just have to upload the icons. Now, even though we are building an Android application, we still have to upload an iOS icon for all the iOS themed Android launcher applications, like when you can customize your home screen to look like an iPhone. So let's upload that icon for iOS. It needs to be precisely 1024 by 1024 as a PNG without background color. So like you can't have background color. So you need to have no transparency, so no alpha channels. So to summarize again, it needs to be PNG 1024 by 1024 and no transparency, so no transparent alpha channels. So it has to have a background. That is very important. And then the same thing goes for the Android icon, even though the Android icon needs to have a bunch of safe area. So let's actually click on upload icon here, and let's drag in that Android icon. And you'll see a preview how it will actually look, because Android zooms in on the icon for whatever reason. Let's go on, done. There you go. So now we got all the configurations done, and now we just want to upload a splash screen image, so we have a nice animation for that. I already have that prepared. It just needs to be a GIF. Make sure that for the splash screen GIF that you actually use a GIF with a transparent background. So for the icon, no transparent background, and for the splash screen GIF, do always transparent background. And then we can adjust the size of it to fit our liking, and that's it. And then we have some other integrations where we can set up one signal integration, Revenue Cat, and all that kind of stuff. But we have videos showing you exactly how you can do that. So we're just going to skip this. But one thing that I will do is I will enable full screen mode, and I will just make the dark mode background color white, because if I'm in full screen mode, the dark mode theme and the light mode theme should be exactly looking the same, because you're getting rid of the status bar anyway. So, and it should match the color of your splash screen. That's just like a rule of thumb that I just usually suggest to have the nicest looking, most seamless animation when it comes to the splash screen. So that's essentially everything we need. Now we have the general project set up, and there are of course many more native features that we can integrate with. For example, we can go to add-ons here and we can configure biometric app log, background location tracking, all that kind of stuff. Also, what you probably want to have enabled is web app synchronization. This will enable app links, meaning you can do deep linking through URL schemes inside of the application. And then we have, of course, all our dynamic SDKs that you can configure inside of your Lovable application using updates over the air. And then we also have the targets, which the only one available to Android right now is share into app, which you can include if you want to. In this example, we don't need to. So now we probably want to go and do our free first demo build, because now the new thing about Despia is we let you build your first application for free. As you can see, it says free demo test. You can now test your app on your own phone with all the native features for free. That is new. So let's claim your free cloud build. And now in this example, we're just going to click on Google Android because we're trying to build an Android application. Now, if you want to generate your own Keystore, you can click on Magic Keystore and you can import your existing Keystore and link it with that. If you already have an existing Keystore and you wanted to link with that. Or if you want to build your own Keystore in Android Studio, you can upload your own Keystore and have it signed through your own Keystore. But if you don't have a Keystore yet, and you don't want to worry about going into the, into Android Studio and writing some code and generating the Keystore, you can click on Generate Keystore, like I'm doing right inside of here. You can lean back, and Despia automatically generates a Keystore for you that you have full ownership of. You can export the Keystore with just the click of a button anytime, so there's no vendor lock-in. And then, of course, it just opens that Keystore in Android Studio here if you do have it installed. I do not want to look at my Keystore right now, so let's close that one. Quit. Okay, so you now have access to your Keystore because whoever has the Keystore owns the application. So the Keystore is like the deed to a house. So we can generate it for you and you have the ownership of it. We're just kind of like holding it for you like a bank almost, but you own it, it's your Keystore, and you can export it anytime. So if you ever decide to migrate away from Despia, you have the key to your application. We're not gatekeeping that like some of the other tools are doing. I'm not trying to say names here, but there are some. So we give you all of that. So now we have access to our Keystore and we get the password and it's already linked with our project. So now we need to set up a development team. Now I have some, but I want to show you how to set it up in case you do not already have a development team. So if you don't already have a development team linked to your Despia account for Android, you're just going to add new developer account, click on that accordion, scroll down a little bit, and this will let you now connect to a Google service account through Google Cloud. So we're now going to go to Google Cloud. Let's already click on upload JSON here. And now we got to go to Google Cloud. And in Google Cloud, we need to select a project. You can take an existing one or you can create a new project. In this example, I'm going to create a new project and I will call this Lovable Video because this is a video about how to publish your Lovable app to the store. Let's go on create. And now, as you can see, it will create this new project. And now I can select this project here, and now I'm in the project Lovable Video. Now we need to go to IAM and Admin, and this will now give us more options to set this up. Now on this left side hand panel, we go to Service Accounts right here. We'll click on there, and we're going to create a new service account. Now we're going to name the service account Despia Lovable video. And the nice thing is you don't need to do this per Android app. You do this one time and it is already set up for all your other Android apps. You just have to select the account. So if you already have an account selected, you can skip this step actually. So now we get this email address, which is quite important. We want to keep that in the back of our mind, of our head here, but we are just going to create and continue. Now the role needs to be service account user, and we're going to select service account user. And now we're going to click on continue and done. Now we have this email generated. Now that we have this email generated with Google Cloud, Despia does it super simple. For us, we just need to upload the service account so it's linked. So let's go back to Google Cloud and let's click on this on those three dots here saying actions, and we go to manage keys. I will click on there and now I will add a new key. So I will add key, create new key. It will be JSON and I will create. And now it downloaded this key, this file. And the only thing I need to do inside of Despia is drag this file inside of this beautiful file uploader, go on done, you see it was added, let's link with Google, and now our Despia account will be linked with Google. So now when I go to development team, you will see I have Lovable video. That was the one that I just generated, and now it's connected to our application. Now, we see Manage Integration, right? This button here. Let's click on this button, Manage Integration, because now we actually need to go into this Lovable Video account and enable the Google Play Android Developer API. So let's click on Enable. This will now give Despia restricted access, but the access that it needs to automatically build and deploy your application. So we're done with that. Let's go back into Despia. Now that is all nicely set up here. So now we have the development team linked with it. We have all of that set up. That's beautiful. Now we need to do one more thing. We need to actually take this account. So let's go back here to the email and we need to link it with our Google console, our Google Play console developer account. So let's go back here to IAM and admin. And now let's go back to service accounts and let's copy the service account email here. Let's go to Google Play console. You already want to have a developer account. And let's go to users and permissions. And now I'm going to go and create a new user here. So I'm going to go to manage users. No, I will go on the three dots next to manage users, and I will go and do invite new users. There you go, invite new users, and I will go on email address. I will paste this inside of here, no expiry date, and now we're just going to go account permissions, and I'm just going to do admin all permissions in this example, so it will have access to all of that. Okay, and then one thing that we want to consider, it doesn't have a specific app permission because we have not created an app yet, but we'll go back to that later. So let's invite this user and let's send the invite. And now this user has been added to our account. So when I look for Lovable, we will see that we have this user inside of here. Now we actually need to create a store listing for our application. So it's linked with the account. So Despia can publish it and update all the stuff. So what we want to do is we now want to go back to home on the Google Play console, and we want to create a new app. This app name will be our app name. So in this example, it will be Android Master. It will be an app. It will be free. And then we just agree, and you can change that, of course. We just agree to their policies. Now here comes the important thing. It will now create the project, and we actually need to immediately upload a privacy policy. Otherwise, the Despia integration with Google will not work because it blocks all automated updates if you do not certify some of the privacy settings. So now we will see get started setting up your app, start testing now, and we need to go to set up your app. And there are tasks. The first task is set up privacy policy. So in this example, I'm going to immediately set up our privacy policy. I don't have one yet, so I'm just going to put my website inside of there. https://despia.com. If you do not have a website, you can just put despia.com in there. You just need to change it the moment your application goes live and you go into app review. But this will allow you to then already have the integration enabled. So let's save this, and this change has now been saved. So we can go back to the dashboard. You need to always make sure that that is done. Now that we have the application set up here, and that we also now have the account permission, or the user set up the integration, we need to go back to all apps. We'll go back to users and permissions. And again, remember, we have this Despia and Lovable video account user here. We need to go on manage, and on app permissions, we're going to add the app that we're trying to build inside of here. So I'm selecting this app, Android Master. Now you see all of the other apps here already have bundle IDs. Android Master does not have a bundle ID yet because we have not assigned the bundle ID to it yet. So just keep that in the back of your head. Let's apply that, and let's apply access to this application, and then we save the change. So this Despia integration has now access to our Lovable application. Now here comes the important thing that we need to take a look at. This is all done with the integration now. But if we now open the Android Master, the Android Master app, it's not linked with the bundle or anything. So the way it works in Android is you actually first have to build the app as a binary, upload the binary manually, and then you're done, and then you never have to again upload it manually. Then it works automatically. So in this example, we're all done, we're all integrated. Always make sure, double check, manage integration, that this is API enabled. Very important, which it is. So now we can go on Google Android, and I have my Keystore, I got everything, I'm all set. And let's go on Publish Project. Now Despia will build the application for you. It will start the conversion process, which can sometimes take 30 minutes, an hour. So just let it wait, because now it's actually opening an Apple Mac M2 and building your application inside of Android Studio. So you can see it says building application on Mac M2, powered by Apple Silicon. It's now preparing the M2 build machine, and now it's building the application in Android Studio. So it's essentially a robot going in a warehouse full of Mac Minis, opening Android Studio, loading your application in there, and turning that application into thousands of native files that will then be put into that app bundle that you can then upload to the store. And then in the future, once you have it initially uploaded, it will automatically support future uploads. So now it will take a little bit, so I'm going to make a cut in this video because we have already everything set up that we need to have set up. So we'll make a little cut, and I'll see you in a second. So now, as you can see, the build process was successful, but now we need to finish up the integration process. So as you can see, it will say connect with Google Play. To enable Despia's auto publishing for your Android app, first manually upload your initial AAB file. After that, all future builds will be published automatically. So now we're just going to download the app, meaning the AAB file that it generated. We're just going to drag this into our desktop. You don't have to work with the command line or CLI tools. That's the beauty about Despia. And now we're going to go back into the Google Play console on our app listing. We're going to go to test and release. We're going to go to testing. Then we go to internal testing. And we're now going to create a new release here. Perfect. Now I'm going to just drag this file inside of here that Despia automatically generated. This will take a little bit, and there you go. It will be signed by Google Play. It will be processed. It can take up to a minute. They're verifying that it's a secure file and all that kind of stuff. So it'll load a little bit. And then we'll be able to publish this first manually. And then if we run it the next time, all future updates will be autonomous, one-click robot publishing. There you go. So it'll load a little bit and it will take a little bit of time to get ready here. So we'll just wait. Should be any second now. And while we wait, there you go. We don't have to do anything while we wait. Okay, let's go on next. It's down here. And now it gives you some warnings, but they're like, you don't have any testers yet. Please select a testing team. You can just ignore them. Let's go on save and publish. And let's save and publish. And now you can already start testing. So if you go to the tester section, you can select your testers group if you already have a testers group, or just create one here. It's very simple. Just put the emails in here. And then you can copy this link and open this on your Android device or share that with everybody in your tester group so they can test their application on their device. So I'm going to plug in my device right now and we're going to do that together. So I now have my Android device connected. As you can see, I can copy the link here for testing it, and I will just open this inside of Chrome, and we're just going to enter that, and it will now open this page inviting me to this internal test. So let's accept the invite, and then it will say you can download this from the Google Play Store. I will just click on there, and now I can install my application, and all of our testers will be able to install that application as well through the Google Play Store. So now it's installing the application. There you go. It's now installing it, and now I can open the application. And you will see it wants me to allow push notifications. And now, as you can see, it will say you are using the development license. Please upgrade before publishing to the App Store. It should say Google Play Store. Gotta fix that. But there you go. So this is the watermark because we're actually using the one free build from Despia. And as you can see down here, we also have the watermark runtime by Despia. But we can just easily get rid of that by upgrading to a paid Despia license. Now, if I'm going to reload the Despia dashboard, you will see that it will now tell us, hey, deploy a new build. You can now build a test version of your app only using cloud credits, which is new. Before that, you couldn't build a new version before purchasing a license, which is $249 per operating system per application. So if you don't want to spend $250 yet, we let you create this build version for free, so you can test it, and you only have to pay once you're fully satisfied. I already got a push notification, look at that. You only have to pay once you're fully satisfied, but now I already got the app, I really like it. We could now, rebuild it either with cloud credits, which are going to be cheaper while you're testing, or if you already want to take the leap, you can already upgrade to the production version and then upgrade the license so you get your builds, you get the watermark removed, you get one-click publishing, and you get lifetime updates and everything that will just keep your application running without you having to worry about all that stuff. As you can see, remove the watermark, access lifetime updates, export the source code, which you can't do otherwise, and it gives you full source code ownership, and then you can deploy to both App Store and Play Store based on your license with just one click, and there are no monthly fees and no subscriptions. So it's a one-time purchase for $249. There you go. But you can also deploy another version for just 5 credits. So in this example, because what we have done is we already have now manually uploaded the version, we just need to rebuild this application so it now removes this message here asking us to connect it. Now I already have some cloud credits, so let's spend them. So now if we rebuild it a second time, it will now, because the bundle is uploaded to the Google Play console, it will now automatically link the application with the Google Play console, and it should take care of everything. Now, I do think I may not actually have cloud credits purchased, so let me just take care of that on my backend and reset my free cloud credit. There you go, my balance was 0, so I just got myself 1,000 cloud credits. because, you know, I have access to the database. I can do those kinds of things. So now it's rebuilding another version of the Android application, which we can just run in the background. We don't have to worry about that. And then it will remove this warning here. And then moving forward, we just have one-click deployment already set up. So now let's go to the fun part. Let's start testing some of the native functionalities, shall we? So let's go to the Despia plus Lovable documentation, which is super simple. It shows you exactly how to set up everything. And let's go for native contact access, right? Because it works in iOS and Android. Every video where you see an iPhone, you can do the same thing on Android because Despia is a hybrid framework. The code that you run on iOS will also work on Android. So we have this example Lovable prompt here to add native contact functionalities. So I will just go to my Lovable application and tell Lovable, add a button to request contact access and also another one to read them and then show them as a list under it. And then I'm going to paste the prompt, which will tell it exactly how to set it up. So let's send this to Lovable, and now Lovable will set it all up correctly. You can also reference the video, but what it will do is it will install the Despia native dependency into your Lovable project. It will import the Despia package into the page that you're wanting to use native functionalities inside of. And then it will use the await Despia request contact permission and deep link method to trigger the request status of accessing them. And then it will define this constants, contacts data. You will then call the method to read the contact. So you're requesting, hey, native device contacts, right? And then you're going to look for the contacts variables. You can look for multiple variables with this plugin here. And then you're going to console log them in this example, context data, which is this const here, and then .context accessing this contact data. So now this prompt here will tell Lovable exactly how to set it up. It's battle tested, and it will also use the Despia package here, which allows you then to access all of those stuff inside of your Lovable web application. So now Lovable finished all of that. So let's go back to the application. Let's publish this. And the nice thing is for iOS and Android, for both of them, you have updates over the air. So this means when you're changing something in Lovable, it will automatically also change it on the native Android application without needing to wait for the Android Google Play Store to review this, which can take up to 10 days. So you can fix critical things immediately, and it's fully store compliant. So now, as we can see, let's open this here. And let's just try closing the application here, and let's opening it again. And you will see we have this beautiful splash screen, and the UI was updated. So now I can request contact permission. It will now say allow Android master to access your contacts. Let's allow. And now let's read the contacts. And as you can see, it will now display my native contacts that are on my Android device. And now the mirror got disconnected because my cable is a little bit broken. But now it will read the contacts that are on my device and show them in my Lovable application, which is a native feature reserved only for native devices. And now you can do this with your Lovable application as a native Android application. And then you already have it on the Google Play Store. So now you can just promote this to be a public release, like to submit it to the Google Play Store, which is just one more click to get it into that lane. You just don't have to fill out all the security information and just go through the to-do list and just answering a lot of questionnaires so they know in what category to put your application. But it's quite simple. So now let's take a look at Despia again. As you can see, this error message disappeared because now after the second build, because the bundle was already assigned in the Google Play Store, it's now successfully linked. So now every time you do an update in Despia, it just directly one click creates a new internal testing track. So if we go back here into our application in the Google Play Store, we go on test and release, we go on testing, internal testing, you will now see that there is this new draft version here, which was created by Despia. And the only thing you need to do when it creates this draft is you need to go to edit release, and you need to go on next, and you just need to manually approve it, and then save and publish, and then save and publish. And now you have a new version that is already assigned to your testers. You can copy the link, and you can then install the new version and test that. Now, if you want to promote the release, meaning move it into open testing, closed testing, or to the store, you can now take this release and go to promote release, and you could then move it to production, which will submit it to the app review. And then it'll be on the Google Play Store, and then you can add your screenshots and all that kind of stuff. But before you do that, you want to make sure that you finish this to-do list. Android does it really nicely. They just give you this to-do list that you just got to work through. It's a bunch of questions that you have to answer, but it's actually quite simple. It's just lots of questions that they need to have answered so they can categorize your app. They can put like 18 plus or 16 plus label on it for regulatory laws in your region and all that stuff. But that is it. That's how you build a native Android application using Lovable and Despia. It's super simple. And if you need any help with the process, you're maybe stuck at something or something like that, you can just go to the customer support button inside of Despia, and then we are more than happy to help you with anything, with any question, any problem that you would ever face. We are here to help you. Just click on send us a message and we'll reply to you most of the times in under 2 minutes. What other customer support in the world is that responsive and that helpful? We have the best one in here, and we are wanting to make sure that your applications get safe and sound into the Google Play Store and also the Apple App Store. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to see you in the next video. We're going to talk about even more exciting native functionalities and native features that you can add to your lovable mobile applications. Now, everything is possible. Take care and see you the next one.